Hey, I'm watching the snowfall, and I'm in upstate New York visiting my pops with both of the babies, and it's pretty as hell out here. I've never seen this part of the country before, and I am really grateful that I got to see it now. Even it's, like brown, like kind of gray. But actually, as we landed into Rochester on Monday, I was making note of like how beautiful the trees still were. And now the snow is falling and chef's kiss. I have no complaints. This is a beautiful part of the country. And I don't know, I think that it's probably even more so beautiful in the spring and the summer. All these trees that are out here. Y'all are lucky to live out here. I feel like where I live is beautiful, but it's super beautiful, and it's like high-key holiday vibes, okay? It's definitely like setting the tone and setting the mood. It's the aesthetic. Anyways, we're gonna hop right in, and I sat on some of these questions to answer this week for obvious reasons, given the holiday, and I feel like it makes the most sense because y'all might be sitting on like an abundance of turkey, which in my opinion has the capacity to taste like napkins. Actually, I just saw a meme that said that, and I was like, man, that's pretty accurate. Okay, it doesn't always taste like napkins. Actually, I do have to give credit to my pop for smoking a turkey. Smoked turkey is my favorite way to consume turkey. If I'm going to eat turkey, please let it be smoked. And maybe you have like copious amounts of mashed potatoes. I don't know. I know some of y'all are also like me, and maybe you don't really love, quote, Thanksgiving food, much as this person that sent me this first question. But if you do have leftovers, let me tell you how to use them. So, hey, I don't usually love, quote, Thanksgiving type foods, but I'm hosting this year and Christmas, and I'm wondering what your favorite way to use leftovers are. So here's the deal. Same. I don't really love what, quote, Thanksgiving food. Can we call it something else? I feel like most people eat this during the holidays. Anywho, hella Americanized casserole type things, okay? I lived in Minnesota for a long time. They do hot dish. Casserole things are just like not really my bag. I've talked about this in previous episodes. It's not my thing. I don't hate it. I don't really love it. If I do things around the holidays, I personally am not gravitating towards these choices, but I feel like the meals that follow, these sort of like big meals, are actually, in my opinion, better than the original meal itself. You know what I mean? Like when I think about leftovers, for example, I don't really love chicken noodle soup, okay? I just don't. I feel like it's boring. I feel like it has its place. I also feel like it's one of those things that is, number one, hella easy, classic comfort, doesn't require a bunch of stuff, doesn't take a long time. So it has a special place in my heart. So anyways, here I am. Took like this smoked turkey carcass today, and it made stock, you know what I mean? Threw it in there with some onions and whatever leftover herbs we had, carrots and celery, and let it go all afternoon, and then picked that all apart and did like turkey noodle soup for dinner. Again, chicken noodle soup, not super my favorite, but this is just like a gimme. You know what I mean? This is just like, just make it. And also I love it because I love adding like a bunch of fresh cracked pepper in mine and lemon. And I feel like it's just nice and hydrating and easy. It was a solid meal. It was a solid meal choice for today. I have zero complaints. Start there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I understand that this is a little bit of a gimme, but start there. And also make sure that you're making stock. I mean, like a whole carcass, you know what I mean? Especially like, I mean, if you're like saving, like all of the bones, right? Like if people are having and it's going to produce a bunch of stock, which you should be freezing for meals to follow. Okay, start there. Also, my dad makes really good ham and beans, soupy beans. I'm telling you, beans and pork are like a match made in heaven. Beans were made for pork and pork was made for beans. I mean, even if I'm just making a pot of beans that I'm going to use for like a bunch of different things, I feel like the addition of even just like a couple slabs of bacon make like a huge difference in like the texture and the taste and the consistency of my beans. But there are like 2 billion things that you can do with like a ham bone and a pot of beans, much like stock, right? Like utilize all the parts, all the pieces, and that's just going to give you like so many other, it's going to be a vehicle, you know what I mean, for all sorts of different things to follow. So a pot of beans. Also, like another great thing to freeze and just have on hand. I mean, if you make a pot of beans, you can do a billion different things. The options are endless. Also, turkey tetrazzini. No, I'm just kidding. I just got the babies to sleep, and so I have to be like a little bit quiet about laughing at my own jokes, which is unfortunate because I've never had turkey tetrazzini. Also, that's like a tongue twister for me to say. What is it? My dad and I were talking about this, actually. It's like a noodly type casserole situation. Is that super lame that I've never had it before? Are y'all like listening to this and being like, what kind of person are you? Also, I don't even think that I've ever had a conversation with somebody that was like, yeah, I'm making tetrazzini for dinner. And if you are one of those people, I want to know. More or less that was a joke, but also that could also be an idea. I feel like as far as proteins go, start there. Start there for sure. I mean, you can come on, whatever you're going to use, for, like if you have leftover chicken, if you're making the roast chicken, the one, do the same damn thing with the turkey. You know what I'm saying? You can make turkey salad, sandwiches, whatever. But other things that I really like to make that, like, I don't make mashed potatoes a lot. And so I do like to make like mashed potato type cakes. I mean, you literally take cold mashed potatoes and form them into little patties and then pan fry them. And you can serve them alongside your leftover protein, or you could get real crazy and do like a Benedict type situation for breakfast. You can make pierogies. And speaking of pierogies, the woman that owns the Practical Kitchen, which is a dope-ass food blog, she actually has a leftover pierogi type situation recipe on her blog that I think everybody should check out. I'm not going to have the opportunity to make those while I'm here, but I did get to see her finished product and they look divine. So if you're feeling adventurous, that's also an option. And then stuffing, if y'all got leftover stuffing, I don't stuff anything. I'm not putting it inside of a bird. I still call it stuffing. I know some of y'all want to argue about dressing versus stuffing. We're just calling it stuffing. I just eat it. I don't have anything creative for any of y'all. I really don't. I eat it cold, out of the bowl, staring into the refrigerator, thinking about what I'm going to do with the rest of these leftovers. Literally, that's not a joke. That's what I did for breakfast today. I really wish I could tell you that I was joking, but I'm not. And then if y'all have like, man, we didn't do cranberries this year, but I am not knocking canned cranberries. I never will, but I love it. I mean, it's not like one of those things that I ever gravitate towards, but I like it more than I like fresh cranberry relish. I said what I said, and I will not take it back. But if you have like, a well-made actual cranberry relish, you could cook it down and make like some little turnover type situations for breakfast the next day. You could eat that shit on ice cream, okay? Don't overthink it, okay? Also, you could do is blend it and then strain it a bit and maybe even thin it out a little bit and have like a cranberry type simple situation to add it into cocktails. If some of y'all listened to this last week's episode, my friend Melissa and I were banging on about cocktails, what we're drinking this holiday season, and she did reference something about cranberry, so that's another idea as well. So Thanksgiving food, holiday Americana food, it's not super my jam. I hope this is helpful. Also, I really I started like making a list of like all of the soups and I was like, no, we're not going there. I need to do like a whole episode on soup because I am soup. If I was made out of anything, that's what I'm made out of. I love soup. So again, much like the last week's episode in regards to not overthinking things, this is a really good time and example. Like everybody's brains are already following out because of family shit, because you just cooked all day yesterday. Like I'm so damn tired. I love cooking, and I was so glad to just make turkey noodle soup today and be done. I don't want to cook. Also, just like freeze some of this shit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if I'm not feeling it, especially like my pop got the carcass on and going this morning, but like if I just can't even at the moment, it is not above me to like throw a whole carcass in a bag in the freezer, and I'm like, let me just tend to this when I have a little bit more bandwidth. That's always an option too. You could do the same thing with like a ham bone, leftover ham. Also, you know what I thought about is like I love ham and lentils. So if y'all like lentils, it's a bean situation, okay? It's not really any different. They're like made for each other. But lentils are underrated, and I'm just giving myself all these. We're going to do a soup and stew episode, and we're going to talk about lentil the underdog because they really are. I said what I said. Here is, speaking of simplifying, Carrie writes, "Hi Ava, I'm hosting a holiday meal for the first time and I could use some advice on how and where to simplify so that I feel like I am able to enjoy my time with my family and friends." Listen, if you know anything about me, you know that I am a monster when it comes to just really kicking my shit in over not doing it all or not having it all done sometimes or not perfecting it. And it's something that I have to like really be conscious of every waking moment of my day. Otherwise, whether it's motherhood, if it's my job, if it's, literally just cooking a simple meal for the people that I love. You see where I'm going here. I can be like brutally hard on myself. And when I'm thinking about things that I have hosted in the past, where that was also something, right, that's like really important to me. Yes, I want to like give a good experience and give good give a good meal, serve a good meal, and serve a good cocktail or a drink. And just like, goddamn, I will never forget. And if some of my family and friends might actually remember this too, I hosted a barbecue at the beginning of the summer. And I made like these little mini cheesecakes, and they stuck to the tins, okay? Granted, this is not a finer moment of mine, and I was much younger, but I might have like chucked this entire tin like across the kitchen. I'm not proud to admit that, but I mean, like, really for real, I have ruined my own experience at my own thing that I have hosted by being a fucking asshole to myself. So, that said, let's help you not do that. And I'm going to just tell myself this as a reminder, especially as we are like very rapidly snowballing into the remainder of the holiday season, where I will also be, serving and hosting meals and gatherings. Let's just like have a moment of silence for our egos, okay? And just like bed that shit, because it really is just so lame to put that amount of pressure on ourselves, because then it's not fun anymore, right? So, number one, you can't do it all. I mean, really for real, you can't. You can a tiny bit, but all of the things that you think that are super important, and the baseboards and the place settings and the fucking napkin rings that you want to make from scratch because you spent way too much money at Michael's and now you feel like you have to, just stop. I mean, maybe you are like hella crafty, and if that's your bag, more power to you. That is not her. That's not me. I would love to be a crafty bitch. I am not. And I think the best thing that we can do sometimes is like, we are just going to like own our craft and hone in on the shit that we're really good at. Me, I'm not making napkin holders. I'm not making bougie name cards, okay? Sit the fuck down wherever you feel the most comfortable. I don't care where you sit. Does your butt feel good in that space? Amen. Have a seat and enjoy your meal. My idea of decorating is putting some flowers in a vase and putting it on the table. And really for real, lighting some candles. That's my decorating. Again, if you're like, my house is kind of messy, I don't really care about blah, 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 but I really want to make a majestic centerpiece, then just do that. I think that's where we're all going to start, is recognizing what we're really great at, recognizing what we're not so great at. Like, I'll clean the shit out of my house. My baseboards will be clean, but that's the extent of the decorating, okay? That's my Christmas tree is decoration. You're welcome. Start there. People are not, I mean, again, I don't know. Maybe you are like getting out the decoupage and the macrame and you're really going to do some shit. But like for the most part, me and mine, they're there because they know that they're going to get fed well, and that I'm probably going to serve a good drink, and that I'm probably going to make fun of myself several times. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not there to see if I made placemats from scratch. Okay? So again, let's start there. Also, like, set the mood. Okay? And maybe you're like, bitch, this is not what I was asking. I thought you were going to tell me to like put my herbs in water. Like, we're going to get there, but like, set the mood. While you're tending to all these other people, tend to yourself, okay? We're staying hydrated. We're also making sure that maybe we're having a snack, because I am literally the worst human being at this. And like, I did it yesterday, as a matter of fact. If I'm cooking and I'm like in my zone, especially if I start early in the day, I mean, next thing I know, I'm like a pot of coffee deep. I'm smelling the food that I'm making all day long. I am like not registering that I should probably put some kind of food into my mouth. And then it's like 4 p.m. and I start to like hangry rage. No, I'm not telling you this from experience less than 24 hours ago. Yes, I am. Okay. But like, for real, just like, it's a fucking marathon. It's not a sprint. Take care of yourself that day. Turn some music on. What is this? Who are you people that are like having people over? Or even, I don't know, maybe I really am just like that weird about music, but turn some music on, okay? pay me to make you a playlist, because how you people are in your kitchen all damn day without music on is flabbergasting. And then how you're like serving a meal, it doesn't have to be loud, just turn some tunes on. That's my version of decorating. Delegate tasks. Okay, these people are coming to your house. If you want to do the whole shebang bang, do that. But also, like, don't be shy to, like, potluck the hell out of it. You know, like, make the main, make the cocktail, potluck style that thing, potluck it all day long. If you're like, absolutely not, I want to do it all on my own, that's also an option. I totally get that, because I am her, she is me. But also, like, again, throughout this season, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're doing this shit for the next, 6 weeks, you know what I'm saying? So have a potluck. And if you're not going to, cool, but like your real tight circle, your partner, your best that's coming over, like, delegate some things, you know, like, have somebody pick up fresh flowers. Make sure that, like, throughout the day you're making sure that you have everything that you need. And if you don't, like, jot things down early on and, like, send somebody to the store for you. Okay, delegate that shit, because again, we're taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of our people. And then, yes, like, here we are, we're climaxing. This is what you probably actually wanted me to tell you about. But, like, things that you can make, you know, even weeks in advance. Different kinds of dough, okay? Different kinds of even bread. You can bake it and then freeze it so long as you store it correctly. You can pie crust, tart shells, keep that shit in the freezer, especially if you are doing like several desserts. You know, if you're doing like a whole situation, several desserts, and all of the food in addition to that, take some of that stuff off your plate even 2 weeks in advance, because even that week before, you're going to feel like you're running around like a crazy. And then, like, the week before, if you're doing like cakes, you can make, there are tons of cakes that you can do just the base, the cake itself, wrap it real tight and then freeze them. Obviously, this is like an unfrosted, unglazed situation, okay? That should go without saying. If you're doing a brunch, biscuits, scones, I know this from experience, all of that freezes beautifully before it's baked. Do that. That will save you an abundance of time. I also think that, like, on that note, and this just occurred to me, but a brunch situation, generally speaking, in my experience, is a little bit more approachable instead of like a dinner, you know, especially if this is like your first time hosting quite a few people or even a handful of people. I feel like brunch is kind of like a good dipping your toe in the hosting waters. Maybe that's bullshit to people, but I feel like it's definitely a little bit more approachable, especially because so many of these things can be prepped and out of the way, and you're just like pulling things from the freezer and baking it the morning of. And then who doesn't love mimosas? Open a bottle of champagne, baby, and just there, cocktails are served. If you are doing, you know, things that have like sauces, a lot of sauces can be prepped weeks in advance and then frozen. And then I would say like the day before, you know, like your veg can be prepped. So you have like your mise en place all ready to rock and roll before you start cooking. That kind of stuff, it seems like menial, but having all of your shit ready to go and organized, I mean, I hate to admit it, but like if you have them, you know, having everything already portioned out so that you really can, you know, if you're like constantly stepping to the side to like chop a couple cloves of garlic and then blah, 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 you have to like measure out a certain amount of stock and blah, you know what I'm saying? Like that just kind of gets to be, it's going to take you away. You know, it makes more sense, in my opinion, to spend a little bit of extra time in the morning to kind of get all of that stuff set up. And I mean, I'm telling you, if you have all of your shit prepped, like I'm talking all of the garlic is minced, all of your veg is chopped. You have everything already portioned out. All of your wet is already measured out and ready to go. Man, you feel like you are on fire when you're finally cooking. And then you're like, why am I not doing this just all of the time? Why? And at the end of the day, here's the deal. Again, we're circling back. These people are coming to your space, or maybe it's not even your space. Maybe you're in somebody else's space, but you're kind of doing the hosting thing. I've done that. People are there to hang out with you. And if you're a fucking monster because you are stressed out and hangry and dehydrated and you didn't sleep the night before because you're bringing a stress ball, like that sucks. That sucks for everybody. That sucks for you. Go for a walk before you make whatever meal that you're doing. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Delegate a couple of those tasks. If you forget something, it's not the end of the world. Phone a friend, have somebody run to the store for you, turn some music on for the love of God, because I'm telling you, it's so weird to me when you walk in somewhere and it's like crickets. Turn some music on. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Why are y'all not listening to music more often? I don't understand. And last but not least, hey Eva, this is my first holiday as a single mother. I'm a member of your Feed Me a Story group. What are your plans for creating memories and traditions with your own family? You know, I am feeling real grateful this year. I didn't have the babies for either holiday, big holiday, whatever. Like I said, I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving per se, but I also didn't have them on Thanksgiving last year, and so I do get them this year. And so I feel less raw talking about it. If you would have tried to ask me this last year, I probably would not have been able to record myself talking about it. My plans for creating memories and traditions, I don't have a linear answer for you. Shocking, I know. I just don't. You know, there are like so many things that I remember doing as a child with my mother or with either of my parents that stuck with me, you know, like whether it was going to look at Christmas lights or holiday lights around the neighborhood, you know, or, you know, decorating the tree as a family. Those little tiny moments that, you know, are not over the top or, you know, don't require a bunch of stuff and things. That's the kind of thing that's actually really important to me. Because my kids are so young, Scarlett's 5 and Maddox is 16 months, you know, I don't want to get too attached to what our holiday has to look like or what we have to do, especially because I don't get them every year, you know? And so I think what's important to me right now is creating memories, not just for them, but especially for myself, right? I think so many times I hear other people or parents say like, you know, they're never going to remember that, and while that's true, I am, you know, like I am going to remember Maddox's second Christmas and, you know, the fact that I didn't get to spend his first Christmas with him. And the other thing that I'm going to do is remind myself that like time is a construct, right? Like dates on a calendar are just that. And that's kind of what carries me, and what will carry me the years that I don't have them is I make my own rules. We can make our own holiday. Christmas can be in July for all I care, you know? And so I don't have, like I said, I don't really have like a real solid answer, you know, like I have an idea of, you know, what I want our holiday season to look like and the things that I want to do and the people that I want to spend time with. But I also know that, you know, like as my community grows and my, you know, my friend circle grows, my parent friend circle grows, who knows, like who knows what it's going to look like next year or in 2 years. And so I don't want to get too attached on some certain outcome of like what I have to live up to, or like, just because we did it this year, we have to do it next year. The one tradition that we will do every single year that I know for sure is we will always bundle up and look at Christmas lights. I will always pack them hot chocolate and snacks, which, as you can imagine, with a toddler is like a stage 5 absolute dumpster fire of a mess. And I don't recommend it to anybody, but I'm still going to do it. And we always get one new ornament for the Christmas tree every year. And that's also something that I'm going to continue doing with them. So kudos to you for being out there experiencing this. I wish I could tell you that it's easy. It's not always, like it's not going to be easy for me next year when I don't have them. But on the other hand, lots of things are easier, and we do kind of get to make our own rules and play it how we want to play it. And so that's kind of what keeps me afloat and what's really exciting, because they are so young. It's kind of like anyone's guess. And as they get older, like I want their feedback. I want to know what they want to do and the things that are really important to them. Like this is the first year that Scarlett's kind of like excited about wanting to see Santa somewhere. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to do that or if I want to do that with COVID. But do you know what I'm saying? Is like, this is, now she's 5. And so she doesn't think that she's not like totally creeped out at the idea of like telling a stranger what she wants for Christmas. But yeah, man, like I don't know. Christmas and the holidays they really are. I mean, I've always been like a big fan of holidays regardless, but it really is magic when you have kids. And so I'm just like excited to see where this takes us and kind of, creating traditions and that sort of thing together as a unit and not necessarily, like itinerarying. That's a word. Write that down. Itinerarying our holiday season. Because again, similarly to hosting dinners, you can suck the fun out of the holidays real fucking quick by, just getting like real over the top and like overcommitting and being stressed out and stretched too thin. You know what I'm saying? So I want to roll with the punches and really just kind of soak them in and soak in the people that I love and kind of start there. So thank you for writing in that question. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all y'all. I hope y'all are having a good holiday week, and I will catch up with y'all next week.